Hi everyone, I'm DJ Sean and welcome to the first episode of Between Two Pugs. I'm DJ Sean and I'm joined by Barbs here and all the family as we're sitting here drinking way too much scotch and beers. I keep forgetting where the camera is. But we're joined by a very ferocious Millie over there with Greg and myself here with Charlie. And we welcome you both to the first episode of Between Two Pugs, where we sit here and we talk about current world events and drink way too much. So cheers everyone. Don't give it to the dog. I made that way too strong. No. Charlie loves anything for a bit of a cuddle, anything for a bit of a kiss here. So what we thought we'd do is we'd tackle the hard hitting issues of the day. We could talk about Syria or something in the United States.
Maybe war made 150.
Oh, there you go, 150 out. Or we could talk about something to do with when's the bomb coming out?
Who is that, Leroy?
I don't think the bong's coming out.
We're going to show you what happens behind the camera a little later.
Oh yeah, behind the camera. You see the magic behind the camera. Now that it's been revealed that the magic behind my lovely scene creation here, there's a dark side to it that Greg has seen now, and it's ruined the magic for him. And rather than just keeping it ruined for him, we thought we'd ruin it for everyone. Yeah, we'd ruin it for everyone as well. Sharing is caring. That's right. My dog can't stop getting enough of licking me here at the moment. He just wants to.
Why do you think I wanted to hold Millie?
To lick. Millie's going to sleep.
Oh,
she's closed her eyes. Yeah.
I have a really good staring contest.
I definitely got the wrong dog here. Didn't I, mate? Hey, did I get the wrong dog? Hey, did I get the wrong?
All right, is it time to piss off, dog?
It's there. We go. Oh dear.
So what are we talking about?
I think your tongue's gone to sleep.
Aerodynamics updates.
Oh yeah, so one of the things we thought we'd tackle, guys, is we'll get it up on the stream now, but if you haven't seen the latest release here from Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I could put it over Barbs' head and just keep
what we did earlier.
Just keep it like that, or that, and you could just see Greg. I think that's probably the better. I think it's probably better. But we might chuck it just down here.
Definitely a more intelligent look.
We'll chuck it over there, out of the way here, while we have a little bit of a look here. One of the things I want to do is just drag that guy down just a smidge there. So what we thought we'd do is we have a bit of a look at the latest video from Flight Sim 2020. 3020. That's what we were looking up before when we were looking up videos. We were looking at 3020, and just to let you guys know, it's not out yet.
No.
Not even an alpha.
Soon to be an alpha.
Soon to be an alpha. So we thought we'd have a chat and review that video and give you, I guess, what we think is some of our comments around there. So I know, Barbs, you've been around Flight Sim for a long time, as have I. Are we counting decades?
We're counting decades.
Okay, we're
30 plus years.
Hey, we got a subscriber, Daz.
Oh, Daz. He's old school.
He's old school. Daz, thank you.
What's that? 13 months.
13 months, yeah. Daz, thank you so much for the support. Daz is one of my biggest supporters of my stream, and I really do appreciate it, buddy. I can't thank you enough. He obviously can, but I can't. So
hi, Daz. Thanks, mate.
I don't.
Do you want to get a cut of that?
You don't.
Oh, damn.
Anyway, let's get back to actually what the hell are we going to do here. So we've got the Flight Sim video up here. It's the Flight Sim aerodynamics video here. What do we got here? Actually, I should probably bring their chat up so you can see. Well, the fact you didn't even read the fine text. Oh, wow. What's okay, 13 months. Think I've got to move on, he said.
Yeah, probably about time, mate.
It's probably... So Greg thinks it's probably about time, Daz. It's probably time to just... Yeah. I think we're done here. Okay, we're back.
Would have been better if I'd left after you came back from
Hey Thompson, hey buddy, welcome to the stream. Shit, this is going off the rails. All right, so cheers.
All right, this video.
We're trying to watch this video.
Roll the tape.
Roll the tape. Okay, rolling on one. Okay, so this is all about aerodynamics. So
can these people hear that? Because I can't hear that.
You can't hear it because you haven't got the headset on. I could do it. I could show you like interpretive dance or something. It's not.
Why did it stop again?
It stopped because I paused it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm mixing. I'm doing my things. Yeah.
Carry on.
All right. So, I guess one of the complaints that we've always had about Prepared, I guess, per se, especially when you move to X-Plane, is you realise X-Plane you're actually flying through wind. You're actually flying through a mass. You're getting thrown around all over the place, whereas Prepared, it almost feels like you're on rails.
Yeah, the only way you could get any decent flight dynamics is when a developer took it outside.
Yeah, when a developer took it outside of the sim. That's exactly right. And I think there's a couple of developers. PMDG did that. Quality Wings did that.
Said Scotch check.
Scotch check. Cheers.
Yeah, PMDG, Quality Wings, your big aircraft
your big developers
took it outside the sim, your HOA guys, all that. Yeah. They all developed programs outside the sim that would handle their systems and their aircraft in modelling somewhere else and then inject it back.
Yeah, so you can see you've probably kind of missed the mark there if developers are developing their aerodynamics and stuff outside of the sim and then bringing it back. Yeah.
There's a problem in the sim.
There's a problem in the sim. So we had some questions about that, I guess, before the aerodynamics update came out. And we've obviously we're going to watch the video now, and I guess we'll have a bit of a chat about it. And we're interested to see what you guys think as well. By now, I imagine that most of you have watched this this video, and we're keen to hear your input as well.
Hi, I'm Sebastian Bloch.
God, can we even hear that?
Today we're going to talk
Yes, we can hear it.
When we started working on Microsoft Flight Simulator...
guys, is the volume okay there on the stream?
Can't hear it.
There's been many
it's okay, I've watched it before.
He's talking about the TBM, mate.
TBM?
Yeah.
The aerodynamics was pretty huge.
Is that the PMDG 747?
It's too quiet. Okay.
Flight Simulator, aerodynamics and physics.
There you go, Daz.
First,
Hopefully
we made
that's a little bit
improvements
louder,
to the core
mate.
simulation
Quiet. There you
engine.
go,
Second,
guys.
we made improvements to the actual simulations of the different systems of the aircraft. Then
Yeah, where do we
the
think that
biggest
river is?
area we reworked was the aerodynamics. We reworked the aerodynamics simulation from scratch in the simulator. I'm going to go over the details
New
of how
Zealand.
the
It looks like one of those rivers off the mountain there.
One big area that we
we
reworked was the weather system. The biggest interaction of the aircraft is with the air. It's the air that makes the aircraft fly.
I don't know about. I don't want to pause this here. I don't know about you, but that looks like a massive cloud you do not want to fly through.
Yeah, I think that might be volcanic ash. It looks way too dark to be cloud.
If I owned that TBM 930, I would not be flying anywhere fucking near that.
If I was, I'd be holding that handle.
Yeah.
Because it's about to get dusty.
It's about to get dusty. Exactly right. Yeah. There's no way I'm flying anywhere near that fucking...
We reworked how the air was simulated in the world. We're creating a full simulation of the
Jetta says, watch me take a glider through
airflow over the planet. And I'm going to explain...
Taking a glider through that, would you probably end up... There'd be a fair bit of heat in that dust, wouldn't there? You'd end up at
80,000 feet.
Jenna, when you pass out at 80,000 feet, or well, you probably pass out by about 20,000 feet, wouldn't you? 25? Good luck with that, mate. I think you could almost have to point the thing straight down and you'd still be going up.
How the airflow interacts with the world, the environment.
I'm being assaulted by a pug.
Might take it to them, and you're getting assaulted. You're getting dry humped here.
It's fine. No,
you're
it's
right.
fine. It's all under control.
It's all under control. Ops are normal.
Yeah.
Ops normal. Okay.
The first big improvement we made to the
he's not much of a looker, mate, from the
CEO. So the system now supports slope
improved core physics. Okay, improved core.
Slope runways.
But also
this is like one of those iPhone ads telling you all about the new features for the iPhone that Samsung's had for the last couple of years.
It's true. That's exactly true.
That's what it is.
for everyone on the stream, it is exactly like that, where Apple does a video saying, we've done this amazing thing, but it's been at the Samsung, it's been with Samsung for years. And for those of you that have been with, have flown with us with X-Plane would know, we've had slope runways for a while since X-Plane 11, and someone fact-checked me on that. Maybe we've had them even before X-Plane 11. Some of them aren't pretty, and some of them you kind of need a four-wheel drive to.
They really look like that one.
Some of the. I think this slope runway is definitely smoother than some of the ones we get in X-Plane. Credit to the guys for doing it. Credit to Microsoft for doing it.
Yeah, and while you say the runway is smoother than some of the ones in X-Plane, that doesn't necessarily mean that this guy's landing is going to be smoother.
No.
Let's watch.
It's probably going to be the opposite.
Let's watch.
Let's watch.
Let's see.
We haven't watched this before.
But I can see from here that this is not going to end well.
I don't think he's got enough flap out, and we're pointed very nose down at this fucking runway.
Well, I don't know. We're probably flying straight and level, and the runway's doing this.
Hey, DJ Sean, do you like movies about gladiators? I love movies about gladiators. You know what I love more about movies?
I am a high school maths teacher. What are you talking about?
Barbs looks like a high school maths teacher. He is a high school maths teacher.
Ask me a maths question.
Ask him a maths question. Don't ask me a maths question. There's a reason I'm not a pilot. I'm a virtual pilot because virtual aviation is cheap.
I've got to concentrate.
Real aviation in Rockhampton.
Hello?
Anywhere else in the world.
Echo.
All right. So we're watching this guy coming in now. He's all over the shop.
You can make a
I'm
cross-country
ashamed that he's got my initials on
any surface, including slope surfaces like fields on mountain slopes. It's gonna work anywhere. To make slope.
We're just gonna go back here a smidgen, just so. Obviously, this is one of those. I can't remember the airport.
It's Courchevel in France.
It's Courchevel in France, which is well known for being a very dangerous airport. It's used in most trailers to just show off aircraft and all that sort of stuff. So absolutely fantastic. It does look like there's a bit of a sway. It looks like there's a bit of a dip that it rounds out towards the end, which is great. In X-Plane, it's interesting. I think I've written off a TBM in X-Plane due to the runway. I'm going to use that. That's my excuse. That's my excuse anyway.
Surfaces like fields on mountain
so that looks
slopes.
really good.
To make slope surfaces work, we had to rewrite the friction model of the aircraft.
We haven't talked much about
tires are now correctly simulated with dynamic friction, static friction. All the friction parameters have been improved, and so the rubber now really behaves.
You reckon that was a wheelbarrow?
Like tarmac parameters have been improved. The friction model of
the aircraft. Can I say that?
So tires are now correctly simulated.
I actually got the left line down. We'll just call that one a bit flat.
That was a very flat landing. You can see that the real pilots. You can see there's three down arrows for that. 3 down thumbs for that. That's the real guys commenting on that landing.
In fairness, his landing rate was positive 120 feet per minute. Because he's going uphill. So,
that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that.
So if you're just using
rubber
landing
now
rate
really
as your
behaves
judgment
on
for
all
a good
different
landing.
surfaces, tarmac, cement, grass, earth, exactly like it should. And also on slopes,
those tires are very pumped up. They are very pumped up.
They're going to skid exactly like they should, with realistically simulated dynamic and
no planes or people were
we also improved the way the bumps on the ground are handled.
I did. There were a couple of planes like this guy. Look at this.
So this allows for planes to come to a full stop even on slopes, and that's when they transition from
he landed on like 90 knots.
And planes can really come to a complete halt exactly as they should on slopes. So when you do a landing on a sloped runway,
there is no way in hell as a ex-real-world pilot and as a real-world pilot here, you would ever swing it to a 180 that fast. You would end up sliding over the runway.
Intentionally.
Intentionally. Unintentionally all the time. Like all the time.
We also rewrote the integration system of the simulation. So the integrator is what makes the simulation go forward. It calculates all the states of the system. So one thing we changed is now
was this the Facebook ad? Because I've got it on my list. I just haven't been on my computer to do it.
So it adapts to the frame rate of your actual TV or monitor. This means that the simulation is much more smooth. Whatever the frame rate of the display, if you have slower frame rates, frames are exactly going to match the display. And also the simulation is always going to run at a higher frame rate. So even if your frame rate goes down, the simulation stays at a high frame rate and you don't lose anything of the realism. Planes always behave as they should, whatever the frame rate. Another big change we made to the integrator is the way the integration now works. It's much more realistic, and it has removed one artifact that was present.
How much do you reckon this Cessna would be in the real world with a G1000 in Australia? $500 an hour. Yeah, per hour.
Rockhampton?
Yeah, at Rockhampton, yeah. $500 an hour?
Let's say 345. There was a G1000 Cessna in a Point Cook for $355 an hour or something.
So you reckon four something?
Maybe $400. Yeah.
$400 an hour at Rockhampton, we reckon, for a G1000 Cessna 172. Bargain, Kurt. Bargain.
You should hire it, Kurt.
Which airline does Barbs teach maths at?
All of them.
All of them. All of them. All of them. Qantas mainly, because they're really bad at maths at that airline. Shocking airline.
So Flight Simulator, which is that planes felt like if they were on rails. It's because the old integrator was resisting change, and it was forcing planes to always
no matter what
more or less
they do, they always end up at minus 400 million.
Minus 400 million, yeah. 1 in 60 rule, minus 400 million.
So the integration is now super realistic. It's exactly moving the aircraft as they should in the world. Spins are not much more realistic.
And see if you're on track.
Well, then you just turn
left.
Yeah, or turn right. Sorry, my dogs are just getting their hump on at the moment.
You don't need to see. You know what we're talking about, seeing what's behind the camera.
Yeah, we're not ready for seeing dogs humping. So Charlie's move, for any single guys out there, Charlie is most successful with his half sister. This is really fucking wrong. This is really wrong. Charlie's most successful when he licks their ear. Oh. So when he licks Millie's ear, he's got about a 50% chance of being able to get in there. So not that I endorse that, that's fucked up. But 50-50 chance. So for all those single guys out there, if you're struggling in that department, it's a lick in the whole ear, just the whole ear. Okay. Just don't even worry about front or back. Just get the tongue into it. You shouldn't have a problem. Yeah.
I think it's time to play that. Fuck this shit.
I think we're done for the night, guys. See you later. Good night, everyone.
Oh,
shit.
Jesus,
I'm going to go out tomorrow to lick some chick's ears and we'll report back.
See how he goes.
I am not paying for any sexual harassment claims. I do not stand by and endorse this.
Just walk down the corridor at school and watch random chicks behind the ear.
Shit. All right. Let's get back to this fucking A320.
And remove the effect of planes being
me and Grandma.
We also reworked the inertia matrices. They are now...
It worked. Me and Grandma are now closer than ever. They should.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Scott's check.
Okay, what are we doing? Oh, we're in an A320.
We're an A320 that needs a bit more work there for the...
he needs to adjust his seating position.
And he needs to slow down. He was doing 170 knots.
What about the other guy? Maybe he's only got half the flap out. Maybe they haven't modelled full flap yet.
Barbs, answer question.
What's the question?
Oh, but no meme. What is his pilot status? Like commercial or private? Private. He's a private pilot. He's a current version of me.
Yeah.
And look, amazing.
Okay.
And planes when they rotate, when they yaw.
All right. So we've spoken about better integration. We've talked about more steps. We've talked about adaptive. We're no more rails. Rewriting the aircraft systems. All right.
So we also made improvements to systems in the simulation other than aerodynamics.
Could have had a shave before
the load factor simulation, which also improved the way the ball, the turn coordinator is simulated.
You're better than me.
Means that when you fly,
so we're talking about the ball here.
Call
the ball.
The ball is
we're talking about balls.
Exactly as it should, and you can now control with the rudder your flight and make it symmetric.
Yes,
the ball
stepping on them, left or right foot.
Because it reacts much
stepping on your balls, the left foot or the right foot.
So we have now specific fuel consumption, which is realistic.
Oh, Leroy. No shaving. He's got time to shave. He's not working on the sim. Barbs, yes. I think Barbs will need a refill soon. I think we both.
Yeah, there will be a short break coming up.
There will be a very short break coming up. Leroy, they're talking
inertia matrices.
Matrices
gets my engineer G-spot all excited. Who spoke inertia? Oh, the guy on the video.
Yes.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes.
Per altitude level, which
if
is
Leroy
matching the
goes
actual
a bit
POH
quiet for
of
a
the
while,
aircraft. We improve the way flaps can be set in the files, which allows to have more control. We finally reworked the way gears and external parts like external tanks are simulated. Instead of just hard coding the moments they apply on the aircraft, they are actually physical elements in the airflow.
I'm tipping it's just a square.
You reckon it's just a box?
I reckon it's just a box that has a certain drag coefficient on it.
And you see that in the box, it seems like kind of sees the box go up into the aircraft,
and then it disappears. And
but if they're talking about that as an improvement, that's probably better than what we have in Flight Sim now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I did. The way I imagine the way Flight Sim, prepared and that work now is you extend the gear and it applies a drag coefficient to the whole aircraft.
Yeah.
The whole aircraft with the drag, with the gear down, will have a higher drag coefficient. Whereas if they're talking about modelling the individual parts of the aircraft and the drag only applies to a certain part of the aircraft, you'll drop the gear on a light aircraft and the nose will pitch down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You heard it first here on Channel DJ.
Yeah.
The maths teacher.
I'm not a maths teacher. Oh shit, I am. Sorry, I am a maths teacher.
Keep the illusion up. Is that right, Mel? Oh my god, put that tongue in, darling girl. Put that tongue in. Put that tongue in. Let's go. What else we got here?
Of the aircraft, and they now realistically simulated aerodynamically just like the aircraft and apply their own forces and moments exactly where they
tanks.
We also improved the icing system, so icing is now simulated realistically.
This is important for you. You need to listen to this.
Around the aircraft.
This is what should not happen.
I just want to point out that the same fucking thing happened to me last year during World Flight, but it wasn't modelled on the aircraft, so I had no idea. I didn't see anything happening. 1 minute I'm flying, departing out there, climbing at 2,500 feet per minute. The next minute I'm a fucking giant ice cube falling out of the sky at minus 7,000 feet per minute.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
The weather system is now accurate.
So this is a pretty cool representation. I'm going to talk about this just for a second. You see,
I think our initial comment on this one was, "Hey, buddy, you're fucked."
Yeah. So if this happens to you in real life, it's game over. Yeah. It's the worst parts of the Bible, basically. And we'll never let you forget it. Yeah, Daz was there, yes, and he never did let me forget it. But I just wanted to talk about this here for a second because this is pretty. Stop fucking enough sexy times. Sorry, I just there's a whole lot of there's a whole lot. We haven't drank that much scotch yet. There's a whole lot of humping going on. Attempted humping here with dogs below. So this is kind of applicable to us X-Plane users here in the fact that Barbs licked DJ Sean's ear. I'm not. I will use these as a weapon. I am not shy to use my Oculus controllers as a weapon here. And I've still got the leftover bar party mix from World Flight here with all the bits that I don't like.
If you start brandishing that VR controller as a weapon, I'm going to have to pick up the hot ass Warthog.
That's probably going to
win. Probably a bit heavier.
That's probably a bit heavier. Yeah.
Okay, back to the ice.
So, applicable to us X-Plane users. So, one of the things that I was kind of interested was that, and for those of you on my stream will probably know that we've been having a chat about. Obviously, I've been in the tallest A319. I did a flight that in that aircraft where it threw 2 failures at me on a Sydney to Melbourne flight. Fantastic aircraft, highly recommend it. But I asked the tallest guys, as well as the X-Jet guy that did the ERJ series and the CRJ series, why have they got no weather on the windshield? Zibbo modelled it. It can be done. You can do it amazing in VR. Why don't you guys have it? And they said, well, their take on it is that they shouldn't have to model it. The engine or the weather engine in X-Plane should model that on the object, and they just have to worry about a windscreen wiper. And I think that's the right way.
That's a pretty respectful response.
I think that's the right way to go about it. So what I really find amazing here is that that's the approach it looks like that these guys are taking, where whatever the object is, it could be a giant brick. If you throw it hard enough and let it fall through a cloud that's minus whatever with rain and stuff, it's going to get some icing on it. So that's a really good step in the right direction. I guess that's my take, is what I'm saying. Is it's good that they're not leaving up to PMDG or anyone else to have to develop icing or weather conditions for their or windshield effects for their aircraft. It'll happen on it anyway. They just have to code it to deal with it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the same principle applies to things like smoke and ash and dust and
chickens.
Low-flying
chickens? Low-flying birds, not low-flying chickens. Okay,
Blue dry air. And so this is now simulated in 3D volumetrically. Also, what we did is the legacy simulation code from Flight Simulator X is still available.
The legacy simulator is still available. Don't bother.
Yeah, so he talks about the legacy simulator.
In case you don't like it, the new one.
Yeah, in case you don't like flying like it does in real life and you want to go back to flying on rails, you've got the option to do that. We don't recommend it. DJ and Barbs do not recommend that. No. Yeah, as we sit here between two pugs, we don't recommend it.
Charlie, don't.
Yeah.
Don't endorse
if you
that.
don't
That's
like
right. If you want to lick some ears and make sure that
what the fuck is that? So the guy said that in the new version of Flight Sim, they will have a legacy mode that you can enable and go back to the old way it worked in FSX, essentially.
Yeah, so
we don't endorse that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Oh, okay, fine.
Oh, okay, Daz. Just trying to answer your question there, mate.
We'll move on then.
New simulation. We don't want to force anyone to move to the new simulation. So all aircrafts have been reviewed with professional pilots who have many hours flying these aircrafts.
Just a point on this.
So
they've been saying this for 30 years. Real pilots have reviewed our performance data and it's accurate.
Yeah. Is it like that though, that guy at the flying school that says he's got a 737, he's been flying 737s for years, but he's got a 737 endorsement and lost his medical straight afterwards and hasn't flown a 737 since?
Yeah.
It's like that.
It's that guy.
It's that guy.
Yeah.
It's that guy. Yeah. Okay. All right. These guys look like they're pretty cool. They've got the paint wall, so they show you the paint that you can buy your TBM in at the back. That looks pretty cool. And they've all got funky haircuts. Like this guy's got funky glasses and a beard. This guy's got long hair.
The guy with the long hair looks like a guy who's watch that show. It's a great show.
Hey Dutch, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the channel, my friend. I hope you're having a good time. The guy looks like John Travolta. Nickelback had a baby. Yeah. I think you're right. The guy that's on the left hand of the screen now.
What?
No. Yeah.
He's controlled exactly.
But the guy on the right looks like the work experience kid.
He does. He's still wearing his backpack.
And he's still got his backpack on. So to me he's like, should I be in this meeting? Should I be going? I'm not really sure what I should be doing. I'm just going to stand here.
Is his name Ken?
What?
His t-shirt says Ken.
Oh, his t-shirt says Ken. I believe we can fly. Yeah.
It's clever. It's punny.
He showed up for the wrong class at uni and it's too late to back out. He's in the wrong he's in the wrong meeting, but he's too embarrassed to leave. There's cameras here. It's exciting. All right, you're coming up here. You're not getting your hump on tonight. You're not getting your hump on tonight. You're going to stay right here.
Millie looks disappointed.
It's not happening. Not on my watch. All right. Oh no! Just lick me, okay? Just lick me. All right.
Where's that close up of you going?
He's so thick. He's a spy for Laminar Research. By the look on his face, he's like, holy shit, we're fucked. No, I totally stand behind X-Plane. The work that they've done in VR is amazing, and they're doing their best. But competition is good. competition realigns priorities, and ultimately as a consumer, it's great for us. Is that right, Charlie Mole? Yeah, you lick my neck, buddy. Good boy.
Like they should. There's many parameters that we set that are not actually present in POH.
That's not in the sim.
That's not in the sim, but no, look at that. Like, no wonder we have engine fires.
Such as how fast the aircraft is going to roll when you move
he caught stealing something. I didn't notice that before. He looks like the guy.
Shush! You can't say it!
No! He looks like the guy in the movies that's waiting in the plush, meeting area or foyer or something, and there's this expensive piece of art on the mantelpiece, and he goes over to tinker with it, and a piece breaks off. That's what that guy looks like.
I'm just going to put it out there because we're all thinking it.
What are we thinking?
He looks a bit dodgy.
Well, clearly he just got caught stealing.
He wasn't stealing. Just for the record, he wasn't stealing. But
fact,
if we come here and have a look,
fast the aircraft is gonna roll.
He looks like he was surprised.
He does.
He looks like
shit, I'm on camera.
We caught him off guard.
Yeah, we did.
He did.
Us.
Yeah, us. We caught him off guard. And he's looking guilty. He's looking like, oh yes. So,
hi Milo.
Yes. Milo, hello, welcome. Hey, buddy, welcome. What I'm going to do is I'm out of scotch, and Greg is now out of scotch, and I need to get these dogs out of here.
We need to separate the dogs.
We need to separate the dogs because it's starting to smell a lot like shame in here, and it's
soon it'll move to regret.
Yeah. Act like you do it. You act like you know what you're doing for the shot. Exactly
yes,
right,
exactly
Dutch. Right. Exactly right. That's what it looks like.
What does this button do?
Yeah. I've just broken the handle off the door.
That's it.
And just holding it back.
Act natural.
No, I'm sure he's a professional. Okay, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to take a very quick break here. I think you'll agree that if this is going to continue on, we do need some extra scotch. So we'll be back here in about a minute or two, and we'll continue on with hopefully less humping dogs and a little bit more scotch to continue on. So we'll see you all in just a sec. Cheers, everyone.
Scotch check. Now, clearly he looks like a professional because it says so on his name tag.
What does it say?
I don't know.
Damo. It just says
Damo.
it doesn't say Damo. It says like, who makes the TBM? Damer or something like that. Yeah, so it says that. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get off this guy because
we're spending too much time on this guy.
The yoke to the left, for example, depending on your airspeed. This is data that is not always available, but that professional pilots feel. They know how agile the plane is at what.
Sexy airplane.
So Barbs and I both think, and I think for those of you, I think like Daz or anyone else, Boyks, who's had more engine failures than I've got fingers. Love you, brother. But the TBM is a really sexy looking aeroplane. It is a really nice looking aeroplane. If I could ever afford a TBM, I'd be a happy man.
When I was planning on winning that $80 million Powerball jackpot earlier in the year, I was going to buy 2 of these.
You're going to buy 2 of these? One for me and one for Barbs.
Okay, 3.
Okay, 3.
What colour would you like?
Oh, that one will do. That one will do.
What speed? And so these are parameters that we set with them, and we reviewed the whole aircraft to make, for example, stalls.
Imagine how much one of those props costs to replace after 5,000 hours or whatever.
After 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or if
when you have that first engine,
we all know how much the engine costs to replace.
Would you lick the TBM's ear?
Yes.
Yes. No fucking
contest.
Yeah, no fucking around. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Yes. Not this guy's
easy question.
Performance parameters from the POH, but actually feel as the real aircraft when you fly them in real life. So the big change we made to the system is the aerodynamic simulation has been reworked. So how we simulate now is much more advanced. So we subdivide the aircraft into thousands of surfaces which are mapped over the airframe. So for example, over the wings, over the fuselage.
So this is
interesting.
This is interesting. So there's a key command that you can turn on in X-Plane to see this and to see the aerodynamic force on the aircraft. I think it kills your frame rate a little bit, but you can then visualize to see the loading on the wing and see what's going on with the aircraft. These guys have now got it in their sim, which is great to see. I think it comes down to them changing the way that they've done it all, and it's now flying through an air mass and all that sort of stuff, which is great to see. This is the best part of the video, in my opinion. Yeah, Daz, we think it's pretty good as well. Absolutely. How many aero surfaces is the model to make the Pug fly?
We're going to find that out at the end of the video. We are on the 5th floor, so...
Knowing my luck, they'll still be trying to hump each other on the way down. Like Charlie will be licking her ear, trying to get it going.
We'll get a high-speed camera set up on floor number 3 to watch Charlie go past.
The wheels over the tail. There's thousands of little surfaces.
No, we're not going to do
which are placed exactly where they should over the geometry of the
aircraft. We're not throwing my dogs off the balcony.
Aircraft. Each surface goes look at the weather, so it has its own wind direction. It's going to have its own air pressure, its own humidity. This means that the right wing, for example, can fly through a cloud where the left wing doesn't. And you can have different winds, turbulence.
Well, I know it's 1,000. How many does X-Plane do?
How many does X-Plane do? I don't know. Don't know.
Humidity on the right wing. Each of these surfaces has a realistic airflow simulation.
How many would be
each surface is going to have...
So 1030 says 69,420.
At a guess. About 200 million.
Plus or minus 69,000. Plus or minus 68,420.
Have its own wind direction, its own air pressure, and it's going to do a full...
Just going to pause the video again here for a second. Aerodynamics aside, that scenery looks pretty freaking good.
The only thing that concerns me about that image is it would appear to me that there is a hell of a lot more lift being generated by the centre of the aircraft than the wings.
Or is that yellow indicating weight?
Maybe the stall is when the airflow is actually bent too far.
You wouldn't have... You would...
The wings lift the aircraft up.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. Didn't you know that?
I didn't.
No. That's how a plane flies.
Oh. I thought it was the drag that lifted the airplane up. Like it's dragging it into the sky.
You know that diagram where you've got the lift and the weight and the thrust and the drag? Yeah. It's really just $, $.
It is. Is Sean kidding? I can't even tell.
What are we kidding about?
We do know that Blade Theory isn't perfect. It's got its own issues. Yeah. Delta Yankee, hello, buddy. Welcome to the stream. We're doing a bit of a bit of a chat tonight with Barbs. Velocity 9247. 9247. For those of you that are with me during World Flight, Velocity 9247, Barbs, this guy just here. And we're having a few scotches while we have a look at the new Flight Sim 2020 aerodynamics video. But we're just going to backtrack here for a very split second. So you see the video here and you can see that there's some yellow in the center.
Yeah, would it
not be yellow? Would that not be spread across the wings? It's carrying the weight.
The fuselage weighs more than the wing. Well,
yeah, but
depending on how much fuel's in it, but
yeah, wouldn't it just be a little bit less off the lift? Wouldn't it be lifting the aircraft? Wouldn't you be looking at a pivotal action there?
Yes.
You wouldn't be looking at weight.
You wouldn't get you don't get a uniform amount of lift across the entire wing surface.
No.
Across the top of the aircraft as well.
No.
So perhaps that's what the yellows
is indicating
there.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Okay. This is a great format. Hope you do it on more occasions. Well, Barbs, you're just going to have to come down and get pissed with me more often.
Drink scotch and talk shit on TV.
Richard Trade. Hey, Richard. Hello. Welcome to the stream. GM from New York. Interesting conversation. I've been listening this AM, 6:58 AM. Oh, well, welcome. He's preparing the lawsuit.
That's it.
We're just having a chat. We're just reviewing the video. I hope, look, guys, if you got any comments or you think we're talking shit, just
tell us to go away.
Just tell us to go away.
Or just tune out.
Or just tune out, yeah.
We'll figure it out sooner or later.
The simulation includes the airflow, speed and detachment and orientation.
My lawyers will contact you later.
Okay. His email address is...
No. So, Barbs, your email and your current residential address is what?
Realistically simulate stall. The stall is when the airflow is
actually pretty shields.
We can organise some photos.
Too far by the surface.
It's a new plugin for X-Plane.
And the airflow cannot stay attached to the surface anymore. So this is now simulated surface by surface.
Is that like being ready and fully ready?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that's...
Yeah. And established and fully established?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So I am probably the most inexperienced aviator in the room, but I've heard of stalls. I've never heard of a deep stall, and Barbs might have heard of...
I certainly haven't practiced deep stalls.
Deep
whether
stalls.
Or not that's a thing that that commercial guys do. I don't know.
It's a thing that commercial guys do.
But
one of the things we have a laugh at on that sim is when people say they're either ready or they're fully ready.
They're fully ready at the holding point.
So I either you're ready or you're not. I didn't realize that there was either you're not ready, you're ready, but then you graduate to being fully ready.
Yeah.
You're either not established, you're established, or you're fully established inbound. Just
generally paired up with starting your transmission with and.
So will this be better than X-Plane? Hey, Toad.
Well, we don't know, do we?
Look,
you would assume that it will be because it's got the corporate might of a Microsoft development studio behind it, and it's a newer technology.
Yeah,
simple.
I unlike many, I will reserve my comment until for when it's in my hands, because I thought Prepared was a fantastic simulator. I took a chance on X-Plane. I could see where the evolution of flight sim was going, which is VR. It's going to VR, guys. It's the natural progression. It's the natural next step. X-Plane did a fantastic job of implementing VR. I don't know if you ever checked Prepared in VR, but I did. I used Fly Inside to try and get Prepared to work better in VR. I used the Prepared VR that they implemented, and then I went to X-Plane and I'm like, holy shit, you guys have done an amazing job. So until I get it in my hands and I can play with it and I can see what it's like, I'm going to reserve my comment for if it's better than X-Plane, which is which is a pretty general question. I'm going to reserve it until I get it in my hands and I can have a bit of a play with it, I guess.
Microsoft could release the most fantastic simulator they've ever released, but if they don't make it VR usable, they'll fail.
Yeah, I think they will.
It won't be better than X-Plane.
No, I think for me, personally, with things like the Zibbo, Active Sky, with X and Vira getting better and better by the day, and they're focusing on performance, and they're focusing on VR, where we'll get the volumetric clouds, we'll get our landing lights and all that stuff on clouds and all that sort of stuff. When they get all that working in VR, unless this new flight simulator does VR, there's no reason for me to change.
No. But having said that, I can't imagine a professional development team leader in their right mind completely ignoring the fact that half the community wants VR.
Yeah.
That would be a massive, massive oversight.
Yeah, I agree.
Daz reckons that a deep stall is like a fully stalled rather than just stalled.
It's like it's difficult to get out of due to the stall.
Because you're fully stalled.
Control surfaces, therefore recovery is difficult.
Fully stalled.
It's fully stalled. Okay, Daz. T-tails have more issues with stalls due to the turbulent airflow over the wing. T-tail, because it's at the same line as the wing.
You don't get the same elevator control
as you do. Okay, thanks, Daz. I appreciate it. Daz has got a wealth of experience in aviation, being a commercial pilot. And thanks, Daz.
And no, a stall's not when the engine quits.
Yes, and for those of you that are new to aviation, a stall is not the same as a stall in a car. What's difficult about making things VR? Never thought about a tech challenge. Thought it would be more like a mouse pointer and head and look. Well, Richard, that's
pretty much what it is.
I guess. If I look at my experience with X-Plane, we all know that most sims are very, very CPU intensive. They don't necessarily love a lot of CPU cores. They love a really high CPU clock rate. That's why I've got mine at 5.2 gigahertz. That's why I try and encourage everyone to try and give yourself a little bit of a boost, because that's where you're going to see your great frame rate improvement. So X-Plane by itself, just like Prepared 3D, is very CPU intensive. If you then go and turn on VR, your simulator suddenly becomes very CPU intensive and very GPU intensive. I hope that, and my hope for this is that because of the way that VR is rendered, it requires a good GPU and it requires a good CPU. My hope is that with the new technology in the new engines, it utilizes multiple GPUs, because that would be amazing. I think that's a stretch because of the technology, but it really makes use of a high clock speed. That's cool, but multiple threads. So if you go out and you buy yourself a Threadripper 16 gig 32 threaded CPU that can scale to at least 4.4 to 5 gig, you'll absolutely blow apart the sim and you'll never have any performance issues again. That's my hope with those new engines, that they're built for the future. That every time Intel and AMD release a new chip with an extra couple of threads, an extra couple of whatever, the sim goes, yeah, give it to me. Here's an extra 15 FPS. Here's an extra 20 FPS. Okay, cool. I'm now bumping that setting from medium to high. In a couple more years, I'm now at 64 threads. Okay, here's high to maximum. I hope that it gets to that stage where we don't get stuck in this old legacy way of doing of OpenGL. And if they're not using OpenGL anymore, they've said they're going to the new engine, which is an OpenGL. OpenGL's been around since '85 and just been patched up and up and up. So that's all positive in my book. I hope that they can get there.
Yeah, the CPU developers are not producing new CPUs with faster clock speeds anymore.
No, they seem to be going the other way. They're adding cores.
They're adding cores and reducing power overhead.
Yeah.
That's basically where all their development goes.
I think we've kind of hit that.
We need to learn to use that.
I think we've kind of hit that brick wall where the CPU is only so big.
That's it.
They can only do. There's only so much heat. It can only get so hot. Yeah.
And you can throw all the water and liquid nitrogen that you want at it. Pipe the air conditioner into the side of your computer.
Yeah.
But at some stage, the software developers have got to take advantage of those extra cores.
Daz says they said there will be a limit to clock speed. Yeah, there might be.
Is.
Yeah. So adding more clock cycles, etc. Well, there you go, Daz. So my recommendation, which still remains, which is something like an 8700K or a 9700K, and clock, if you can, clock the shit out of it as much as you can to remain it stable.
What could possibly go wrong?
Go wrong?
Richard, so do I, by the way. Remember when OpenGL came out?
Yeah, it was in the 80s. I think it was 85 OpenGL came out. He was like 20 or 25 or something like that. I was being born, so you know.
I tell you what I was about 11 or 12 sitting in my dad's office playing Flight Sim on his freaking XT IBM PC with now in 4-color RGB.
Wow, 4-color RGB.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Flying out of Meigs Field and going to
going around
Chicago O'Hare in a Cessna. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, with 15 FPS or whatever it was.
No, I don't think you had any way of measuring your FPS.
There was there was no
It was,
way.
wow, how cool is this?
Yeah. Meaning Zippo Explode CPU goes to 10 gigahertz. Yeah, well, look, I think they're reaching, I kind of feel like AMD's finally caught up to Intel in the latest 3950X. They've kind of surpassed Intel a little bit here, which Intel's going to have to bring up their game. But I think we're getting to the limit of the current chipset. I think we're getting to the limit of the current technology.
The
architecture. We're constrained by the laws of physics here.
We're going to have to go back to Pentium.
And something's going to happen. It's either going to be the birth of dual CPU motherboards or something, or something's going to have to happen here where we get more processing power, or it's cloud computing, or it's I don't know, what's Google just done? They've done supercomputing or something, the birth of supercomputing or something like that. Baby supercomputing, I don't know. Quantum computing, yeah, that's it, does quantum computing. And they're saying that it'll utilize all the cores. That's great. That's we fully support that. Absolutely. All right, what else we got in this video?
Which means that we can have a left-wing stalling, especially because of the weather and the full realistic simulation of each surface in the world.
Yeah,
but each surface will also deflect.
There's definitely a gap in those vectors off the center of the wing there. So that's looking better to me.
For the real world Australian pilots, and I imagine it's much the same anywhere in the world, I don't think you'd be allowed to stall there.
I don't think you're allowed to practice stalls there.
I don't think you're allowed to practice stalls there. In my horrible memory, I vaguely remember one of the conditions is at least above 3,500 feet.
And over that water bit.
And over the at least over the water. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Will also deflect the airflow.
But enough a sufficient height to recover by 3,000 feet.
Yeah, by 3,000 feet. Yeah. I always recovered within 500 feet.
Oh, 50.
50 feet. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
If you're recovering within 50 feet, you didn't really stall.
Nothing really happened.
The stall warning went off.
The stall warning. Yeah. That goes off when I land anyway. Don't worry about it.
Goes off when I take off sometime too, but anyway.
Just want to point out that scenery again looks amazing. Like, look at that. That's looking pretty spectacular. And they say that they do all their videos in 4K. So, using that logic, the guys that aren't running 4K, and I'm one of them, I would much prefer fidelity over 4K. For those of us running under 4K, that's a great thing for us, because the laws of the way all this works is that we should get a better performance on less than 4K, because we're not rendering 4 times as much if we're on 1080, even if we're on 1440p, we're not rendering anywhere near as much as 4K. And I kind of use that same logic when I'm testing X-Plane. I go to the worst scenery that I've got from performance perspective, the worst weather, the heaviest aircraft, and I tune my simulator to that, because I know that anywhere else I'm going to get really good performance. So the fact that they say that they do all their videos and testing in 4K and that we get really fluid performance is a really good sign for those of us that are not in 4K. It's a great sign for everyone. If they're getting 60 FPS in 4K, winner chicken dinner. But for those of us not in 4K, it's even better.
The airflow is going to be impacted, and surfaces which are behind are going to get a different airflow because the airflow was impacted by the surfaces in front. So this, for example, is going to allow more aerobatics. So, for example, the airflow is coming from the propeller and it's hitting the tail, and that's how you can, for example, enter into a flat spin or some of the figures. So, for example, when you can do a
50 feet, mate.
Spin, that's because the propeller hits the tail.
I reckon that's
this is now realistically simulated. The big improvement we made to the simulation is the simulation of the air mass. We now simulate the air mass globally over the entire planet and realistically. Every area of the world has its own simulation of air,
so global 3D
and we know where the air is flowing everywhere on the planet.
Have a look at that.
Look at that cloud at the top there.
Yeah, you're gonna fly through. You reckon you're visual, mate? You VFR?
We're good there.
We're good there.
We're all good.
We're good. Yeah. Okay.
That's 1.5 kilometers.
It's onto the right. There's 1.5 kilometers somewhere. Yeah, exactly right. Or at the deep store, yeah, it does. Yeah.
And this then
I don't know. Maybe it's just the videos that they've shown us, but all the storms or the clouds have looked really violent. Like
really
that
vicious.
Looks like I do not want to go anywhere the fuck near that.
I just hope they don't go down the same path that they did in the past, and whenever there's the slightest hint of any thunderstorm,
it's just
there's freaking thunderstorms everywhere.
Yeah. Your weather radar is just fucking
you got
red.
flashes of lightning going off everywhere. If there's a thunderstorm over there, put a thunderstorm over there.
Yeah, don't cover the whole place. Hello, Icelandic Aviator. Hello, Icelandic Aviator. Thank you so much for the follow.
Robbie wants to know where the pugs are.
Welcome back to the stream.
They got ejected.
Robbie, hello.
That's the answer to the question of where the pugs went.
Yeah, the long and short of it is that they got kicked out. There was too much humping. Yeah. Greg and I, we were heating up in here.
There's a little bit of incest going on.
There's a little bit of incest going on. There's a whole lot of ear licking, and we did. Yes, and for any single guys out there, ear licking.
We've given the tips on ear licking
is the way to go to secure that.
10:30 was reporting back to us.
10:30.
He got a long way with his grandmother.
Oh, he got a long way with his grandmother.
That was Gina.
Yeah. So 10:30 was going to go put it into action, and he walked out and gave his grandmother a bit of a lick. And apparently they're way closer than they were before.
Okay.
Moving on.
Clouds.
Thunderstorms. System of the surfaces of the
I hope this guy's IFR.
This means that, for example,
that fucking VFR.
we have volumetric clouds, which you can see in the world, which are going to match the airflow.
But even if he is IFR, he should be requesting 5 miles right track.
Clouds, usually it's a kind of cloud which exists because there's a lot of updraft of air, but when they get really big, there's an updraft on the side, and in the middle it actually goes down. That's basically why they're so dangerous, and but never in a small aircraft get close to a...
Who needs the comedy channel when you got this drone?
Yeah.
Big aircraft, you're going to get a lot of turbulence, and so this is now simulated.
Time lapse.
This is okay for anyone on the stream. This is sped up. Times 4 acceleration approved.
Is going to match the clouds and is going to fly. The air is going to move up and down inside of the clouds.
How good is that?
See a video
like that.
That hole in the cloud is amazing. You would not get that now.
But you would never fucking fly through it. No. You would never go anywhere.
I'll try and get through that. I can see that gap. I'll go through there.
I would not be within 10 or 15 miles of this fucking cloud. It looks as mean as anything.
They're going to bring in the airflow vectors in a minute, and you'll see what happens in that little hole.
Yeah. I would not be anywhere fucking near this.
So this airflow.
So they bring the airflow in, you can see, and there's a fucking reason why.
We're going to sink now.
Yes. Trajectory of the particles. They just do exactly the same calculations than the aircraft in the world.
Anything's possible.
Particles the world atmosphere, exactly like each surface on the aircraft. So you can see on clouds that the air is moving up and down. You can see the turbulences, which is when the airflow of the particles changes color, and the particles move more randomly. So these are like wind shear or turbulences. Some of the air may go up because it's in the middle of the cloud. Some may go down.
There should be some straight up going on there too, though.
Yeah, there should be.
So this is all now naturally simulated, and we have all the updrafts, downdrafts in the world which match actually the weather.
Where do I get one of those polo shirts?
You don't.
Do alpha testers get those?
Do alpha testers get polo shirts? That's a good question.
I think we need to ask that.
I think we'll ask during the alpha. Yeah.
Simulation also works with the world shape.
Yeah, I thought the wind animations were a bit average. Yeah, it does. We thought there should be more of a bit of an updraft there at the start.
Which can depend on buildings, hills.
This is impressive. The fact that they're actually modelling the airflow around the objects on the ground, when previously they've barely modelled.
Well, they haven't done anything of that.
Done anything. No. They've barely modelled the shadows of the objects on the ground.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You
turn ground shadows on in prepared, see you later to 30 frames.
Yeah, that's true. It'll be interesting to see. Like flying into an airport, and I don't know. You guys on the stream will be able to come up with a million suggestions. But I just feel like if there's any airports that are near a large CBD built-up area, that it's going to be way more lively coming in than anything we've ever experienced before.
You fly a Cessna into Moorabbin and get in underneath the bloody Bunnings or whatever it is on
or over the top of the the Coca-Cola factory.
All of a sudden there's no wind.
Yeah. Or you hit that massive fucking thermal over the roof.
Yeah, you have a 20-knot crosswind, and then you get down behind the building, and it's not there anymore.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Hey, Sam, welcome to the
Gold Coast. Yeah, exactly.
We're taking a Black Hawk pilot saying how difficult it was to fly through a CBD due to the wind. Wow, Daz. There you go. That's
exactly.
Flying a Cessna above the Gold Coast. Oh, yeah, true, Robbie. Absolutely. What about Kai Tak Airport? Yeah, Toad, that's another one.
In between the buildings,
Yeah, in between the buildings, absolutely.
There's got to be a certain amount of turbulent air.
Yeah. I think I've got a hunch here, and you guys can tell me in 12 months whether we're right or we're wrong. You reckon I'll be wrong? I feel like the Kai Tak heart attack. I kind of feel like the sim is going to... I feel like this sim, if everyone leaves the new engine on and they don't tick the old one.
Oh, go back to the old one.
Go back to the old one.
Yeah, everyone should use it.
If everyone leaves the default simulation on, which is the new simulation, which takes into account all this stuff, and they don't go back to flying on rails, because they did say earlier on in the video that you can tick a box and you'll get the old FSX way of flying. The fuck. Anyway, you don't tick that box. You use the new way of flying. I feel like the sim is gonna catch a whole lot of people out in different situations where all of a sudden I crashed coming into land into wherever, or I flew into a cloud and in my Cessna or something and I died. I flew into a mountain or something. I feel like almost like BAK, like your basic aeronautical knowledge, you're going to have to be successful. You're going to have to use some of it. You're going to have to apply some
basic
principles. Otherwise, you'll get caught out. And I think credit to the people that are using X-Plane already. You're already kind of doing that because X-Plane kind of forces you to do that. But if you're just flying prepared, or you're coming from FSX and you now come into this whole world of ground effect and
single wing stalls and
all that sort of stuff, and updrafts and downdrafts and all this turbulence through buildings and all that sort of stuff, it's going to be a really big kind of wake-up call. I just feel like we're going to get a whole lot of bug reports or something like that saying it's not working properly or something like that. When actually in real world, put yourself in that Cessna. Are you going to fly through that fucking cloud when it's angry like that over that mountain when you've got no visual clue of what's on the other side of that cloud? Like you would never do it in real life. I just kind of feel like it's going to happen. Everything Brady. Hey, Brady, welcome to the stream. Hello, Sam. See you later, buddy. You're off.
See ya.
Yeah, see you later.
Popped in for a second and now he's out.
He's out, yeah.
Wide are going to influence the airflow in the world. So, for example, the air flows over a stadium or a hill. It's going to create updraft, so the wind is going to flow up. And on the other side, usually there's...
It's interesting how the wind only sort of blows in that little section, though.
Oh, they don't have it'd be a test. Right. It's a test. Come on, mate. They're just testing. They're showing us.
If you fly down this way, it's all
I just fucking fly up this way and over that way, mate. No worries. I've never seen ever wind like that colour.
No, yeah, that's true.
Maybe it's like a paint factory, and the wind's blown into the paint factory, and all the paint's been blown out. Do you reckon?
It's Flovia's paint.
Yes, it's. You have to pay for more wind.
It's an extra $10 a month.
It's an extra $10 a month. Yeah.
The guy that's flying his plane over there has paid for the wind. We haven't.
Yeah. But wind aside, and whether you have to pay for extra wind, that scenery looks pretty amazing. And it's funny. Let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
What do you think? Like Orbix and doing their whole regions.
What are they going to do?
What are they going to do?
Where are these companies going to find their niche? I mean, they did that. They went, okay, we've got this flat landscape that is auto-generated based on land class, texturing, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to actually improve that and
the whole world.
Take some freaking photos of an area and say this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Now, how are they going to do that? Now, it's all sourced out of Bing Maps and
Azure AI and all
Azure
the rest
AI and real 3D modeling of what's actually there.
Yeah, it's a valid point.
Those companies are. See ya.
Well, yeah.
If this is successful, those companies will not be able to find a way to improve on it.
Explain the other bloke again, please. Richard, if you Richard. So Richard, this is Barbs, who's a very good friend of mine and a very big supporter of the channel. He has the convenience of living not too far away from me, about an hour up the sunny coast there, so in a beautiful part of Australia, and was Velocity 9247. You might have heard on the radio comms when I was flying around the world during World Flight. But we're talking about the scenery, and we're talking about companies like Orbix, where they do whole regions for flight sim. I think, I look, if the scenery is this good and they're using Azure AI to pull the satellite imagery up with rule sets that say, okay, if it's this angle, it's this high, and all that sort of stuff, that we get scenery like this. I think companies like Orbix or companies that would do large areas and states of scenery, well, they're going to probably have to really focus in on the airports.
Yeah. Because he's saying he thinks it's amazing quality. I agree that Orbix work is amazing quality, but
it is.
Compared to what we're seeing in these previews,
it looks Orbix quality.
It looks Orbix quality. It looks like the sort of stuff that Orbix would do around an airport, not over a region, but just around an airport.
Yeah, and all credit to Orbix, they do a fantastic job. Their airports are prepared. Brisbane needs some love, but it needs some love.
There's a few taxiways.
Is it? Yeah,
maybe another runway
and actually texturing. Brisbane needs some love, but the rest of their airports, they do an amazing job, and they do an amazing job of the scenery, the large scale scenery that they do. This is just me, and this is just my. I don't know how they can compete with something where the engine's doing it globally. I think you'll see a transition back to where they'll have to do really high fidelity airports, because we haven't seen a lot around airports at the moment.
No, there's lots of regions and HD trees and autogen products and things like that.
Yeah, and all this stuff, Azure, like taking satellite photos and using Azure AI to pull it all out of the ground and stuff like we're seeing on the screen at the moment, that works for a static building that doesn't move.
Yeah,
you can't apply the same logic to an airport because the baggage carousels, the baggage carts are moving, the aircraft are moving.
There's buses driving through airplanes.
You'll have static aircraft on the ground. You'll have all this sort of stuff that you can't really do.
Maybe their work will come out of all their object flow and actually animated scenery.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. And Daz, look, that's a really good point. Maybe they'll concentrate on X-Plane.
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Or Prepared. Maybe they've got some lucrative contracts with Prepared. Absolutely. Yeah.
Down, but in a turbulent way, right? It has to go back down, but it's gonna be creating a lot of rolling turbulences. So you can imagine when you fly
there's no way I'm flying a Cessna around that.
Well, with that cloud and that visibility, there's no way you would fly a Cessna over that. If you were VFR.
No.
If you're IFR.
I'm not going anywhere near that on a windy day.
No.
It's going to get all these rolling moments. It's going to get the up and down draft, and you're going to feel all these bumps. So on the video, you're going to see there's, for example, wind flowing over mountains, and it naturally creates turbulences. On the other side, in the valleys where the
what about the old Microsoft
together,
Excel flight simulator? Stops.
They collide, and it creates these turbulences.
What about flying through this valley, Barbs?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be down there.
You can see the up and down draft, and you can see how the slope of the wind is actually very steep, right? It goes along the slope. So this is it for the improvements on the aerodynamics, on the physics. So we improved the core simulation. We improved many of these simulations.
Cessna at 10K.
We reworked the aerodynamic simulation.
Yeah, I don't think there's really much else.
And when the ground's at 9K, you don't have much choice, do you?
No, you're flying at 10K. Yeah.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think that's.
This is just a pretty shot of a business jet.
Yeah, a Cessna citation. I think that's the Cessna citation, guys, which is great. Yeah. So what have we spoken about tonight? We've spoken about, obviously, Flight Sim 2020 and our thoughts and opinions. I mean, for me, the ultimate... you guys have heard me on stream. I've been talking about eye candy, and these guys, this is a fantastic marketing tool. You get people in early, you get them to build an emotional connection, and then you take them along for the ride. It's marketing 101. It's that comes at the end after you've purchased.
Oh, okay.
But it's marketing 101. We need to be careful we don't get tricked into that and follow that, where we get emotionally involved at the start. We hype this up to be something it maybe necessarily isn't, and then we get brought along for the journey, and then all of a sudden we're dumped with a bucket of shit at the end. I don't think we're going to get that. I've spoken about over the last couple of weeks on stream when I've been asked about it, and we've reviewed some of the videos. I've spoken about it being purely eye candy, where they know how to do the great angles, they know how to get the lighting right, they know how to get the clouds right, they know where their scenery is really good. Let's film it all there. I do exactly the same thing. With the aerodynamics video, we started to scratch the surface now. We started to go to that next level. Okay, you want to impress me? Cool. Visually, I'm impressed. You won me over. Let's get to the part that I'm really interested. Talk to me about aerodynamics. Talk to me about fidelity. Talk to me about performance. Talk to me about the use of modern technology. You want to impress me? Don't build me a simulator that looks great that was built for computers ages ago. Build a simulator that's built from the ground up for the future. And I think the more videos I watch, the more that I'm seeing, my needle from that not negative but skeptic is starting to shift the other way. I don't think we're there yet. I'm not completely convinced. I think if they announce tomorrow that VR they're going to support, it's going to be a fundamental part of their core infrastructure, their core development. I think that needle would probably almost swing, 90 degrees to the right. But yeah, look, hopefully we'll see more soon. So, yeah, I don't know if I got anything else. No. Well, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've enjoyed this first of the Between Two Pugs.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. We had to kick the pugs out on episode 1. There was way too much ear licking and humping going on, and we were all getting a bit jealous. So we had to kick them out. But guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I know I had a lot of fun. Thank you very much, Greg. That was great fun, and I think we'll see you all in a little bit. I think I'm back tomorrow for a stream. Depends on how hungover I am.
Are you doing the Bat Sim event? There's a Sydney online event tomorrow.
Maybe.
Or like starting at lunchtime and running until
till lunchtime the next time.
Sunday night or something.
Oh my god! Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do some VATSIM flying on into Sydney to make a count of the Sydney ATC. But we'll see.
I'll be controlling tomorrow night and Sunday night.
Oh well, Greg will be controlling tomorrow night and Sunday night. Do you know the position?
I think I'm Wollongong and Mudgee.
Wollongong and Mudgee Centre. There you go. Make it happen. All right, guys. We'll see you all a little bit later. Bye for now.
See ya.
Bye.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.